Remember that in-class writing assignment we had a couple of classes ago? Well, let's rephrase that question. What was the most impactful teacher you've had? Now, you may have liked the teacher who was nice to you, you may have liked the teacher who was not nice to you, you may have liked the inspiring teacher, or you may have liked the teacher who screamed at you, called you names, threw a chair at you, but helped in your character development. Teaching these days comes in so many different forms. Now, let me tell you about the most impactful teaching moment of my life. It happened when I was standing outside my school before my 11th grade midterm examination. It was a biology exam and I was freaking out because I prepared very last minute and was getting all the concepts messed up in my head. I was hurriedly trying to go through all the topics and was mumbling to myself, and then the most bizarre thing happened. This senior that I barely knew walked up to me, asked me what my portions were, and for the next 15 minutes marked the important questions in my textbook and proceeded to explain all of the 5-mark questions. And within 15 minutes, I was somehow confident enough to face the examination. I still ended up getting 58 out of 100, and given that half of those marks were from the lab, but I'm still positive that without the 15-minute masterclass, I would have done much worse. That incident convinced me that the pains of a student can truly only be understood by another student. Which brings me to my point. There is a disconnect between teachers and students when it comes to the learning aspect. Teachers are so concerned about teaching but are not in tune with the way students learn. Our curriculum, for example, requires us to sometimes replicate the content in the textbook onto the answer sheet, but we aren't taught ways that make it easier for us to memorize. Now, many times students do not even have their basics right and need extra guidance to navigate through the subject. Online learning platforms provide tons of videos explaining concepts in great detail and providing online tests, but there is still the problem of distractibility and they're not personalized enough. My solution to all of this is Syllabuddy. Now, Syllabuddy is a learning platform that consists of student mentors who coach younger students in groups of 5 to 6. The mentor is usually a student who has completed the grade previously and is well versed with the contents of the syllabus. The mentors use their experiences of preparing and writing exams to make learning easier and more fun for the students, such as using learning devices. For example, I'm sure many of you use things like mnemonic devices to remember points from a certain chapter. Now comes the question. Why is Syllabuddy a better option than, say, a tuition class or an online class? My answer to that is phlegm. Now, phlegm stands for P, peer learning. The constructivism theory claims that students solidify their knowledge by teaching each other, and that learning is an active process and a social activity. Group study sessions are not helpful all the time, but with the presence of a mentor, it may be a fruitful experience. Hands-on experience. Because of the small size of the group, communication becomes a lot easier, and because of the lower age gap, it's less daunting to approach a mentor with questions. Less preachy. The student mentors are not substitute teachers. They are instructors who can empathize with the students, understand their problem, and address them with possible solutions, things that may have previously worked for them. They may not be smarter than your teachers, but they do know what it takes to score good grades in an examination. Exam stress. I would have definitely failed my bio exam had it not been for that senior. Along with conceptual learning, there will be a focus on how to tackle examinations, and if you're really struggling, how to scrape through them. G stands for general resources. At Syllabuddy, we also hope to curate a database of question papers and resources that will make learning easier. We are aiming to make the process of learning as seamless and student-friendly as possible. Mentors are handpicked. Mentors are chosen carefully over multiple rounds of selection. For the initial screening, they should have scored more than 80% in the subject. There will then be a written examination that will assess subject knowledge and a verbal assessment that will be judged based on articulation, conduct, and ability to engage. Then selected mentors will undergo a boot camp for basic training. Now, why should mentors opt to be a part of Syllabuddy? Part-time positions for students are surprisingly few. It is also a great addition to any resume. Since it is important for Syllabuddy to foster a good relationship between students and the mentor, extra effort will be taken to ensure that mentors are well taken care of. Access to online paid resources, team building efforts, and networking opportunities will be provided to all the mentors to aid their career development. The business model is quite straightforward and the BMC explains most of it. Significant to note is that classes will be conducted tri-weekly and there will be a mentor check meeting every 15 days. The cost structure was settled upon after considering the pricing model of multiple online platforms such as Byju's and Unacademy and home tutors. Mentors are paid monthly, and the average wage for 8th to 10th grade mentors is rupees 15,300, and that for 11th to 12th grade mentors is rupees 23,400. Average revenue for the first month, given that we have 10 study groups, would be about rupees 3,57,000, from which we have to subtract company costs, which would mean that the net profits are averaged at rupees 1,50,000 for the first month. Possible challenges that I anticipate include competition from the players in the market, replicability of the model, attrition among mentors since they are the students, handling student-parent expectations, and the pricing. Now we get to the last leg, which is marketing. The edutech sector is booming and its valuation is projected to reach 1 lakh crore rupees by 2028. So we know there's potential to create something big. Now, having a good website with details about the student mentors highlighting their achievements will generate trust among parents and students. Sufficient online marketing by approaching schools and other institutions can generate traction and awareness among our target population. As a marketing tactic, and also to assess how well students can actually convey topics, I asked a few friends and acquaintances to record 30-second to 1 minute long videos explaining a topic that they learned when they were in their 11th and 12th grade. These videos are a great way to differentiate Syllabuddy from its other competitors and to remove any apprehensions against student mentors. So scan away. Not promising anything, but you might spot a friend or two.